The Roman Empire was one of the most important civilizations in history. It lasted for hundreds of years and stretched across Europe, North Africa, and parts of Asia. The Romans built amazing roads, cities, and powerful armies. They also created laws, trade systems, and a culture that influenced the world for centuries. Life in the empire was very different depending on your class, your wealth, and even your job. To understand the Roman Empire better, today I'm gonna show you a day in the life of three different people. We'll see the world through the eyes of Christians, philosophers, and slaves. Each of them lived in their same empire but had very different experiences, challenges, and ways of looking at life. So let's get started and step into the past to see what life was really like in the Roman Empire. I am Lydia, a seller of purple cloth in Philippi, a prosperous city in the Roman Empire. My life revolves around my shop and my family, until one day I heard Paul's words and my heart changed. Today I want to tell you what a day in my life is like, between business, prayer, and Christian hospitality. I get up and down. Before opening the shop, I bow my head and pray silently, as the apostles teach. I prepare a simple breakfast: bread, olive oil, and fruit. The routine gives me strength and clarity. I open my purple shop, my family's business. I serve customers, negotiate prices, and check orders. Although I am a merchant, the Word of God is always with me. Every deal, every interaction is an act of integrity and faith. At midday, visitors arrive, friends, neighbors, and sometimes Christians in need of shelter. My house becomes a safe space. We share simple food, bread, and wine, and encourage one another in the faith. Between selling purple cloth and praying, I find time to read Paul's letters and accounts of the Christian community. I reflect on how our faith grows in a world that sometimes doesn't understand it. In the evening, I close the shop and retreat with my family and visitors to the meeting room. I pray, share stories of conversion, and listen to the experiences of other believers. The community is small but strong, and each gathering reminds us that our faith transcends fear and persecution. Today we remember the early Christians of Rome and Jerusalem, and how despite the risk, they remained united. My home is a refuge, a place where Christ's message is lived out every day. When I go to bed, I give thanks. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know that as long as there is faith, there will be hope. As Christians, we'll live with courage and hospitality, sharing our lives and our riches fairly. My name is Lydia, and this is a day in my life. Christianity was very new, and most people didn't understand it at all. Christians were often seen as strange or even dangerous because they refused to worship the emperor of the Roman gods. They had different beliefs and a different way of living, so many Romans thought they were breaking the law. Christians could be arrested or punished just for believing in Jesus. The Bible tells about King Herod capturing followers and putting some of them to death. Can you imagine living like that? Always watching your back, always thinking about whether someone might turn you in. Some believers even had to hide in caves and basements, whispering prayers and reading letters in secret. Pliny the Younger, a Roman governor, wrote a letter to Emperor Trajan about Christians. He said that some people were executed because they refused to stop worshiping Jesus, while others were released if they promised not to follow their faith anymore. This shows how dangerous it could be, but also how strong Christians' faith was. Even when facing death or punishment, they continued to meet and help each other and live by their beliefs. Things started to change when Emperor Constantine made Christianity legal with the Edict of Milan. Suddenly, Christians could worship openly, build churches, and share their faith without hiding. That was a huge turning point. Over time, Christianity grew stronger and became a big part of Roman society. From secret meetings in homes to large communities worshiping freely, the religion that once was hidden became a major force. Life in Rome can be loud and messy, but as a philosopher, I try to find calm in it. I wake up early before the city is awake. I sit quietly and think about what I can control and what I cannot. People, money, events, they're mostly out of my hands. But my thoughts, my actions, how I treat others, those are mine. I focus on that. After that, I get dressed in simple clothes, nothing fancy, the simpler the better. It helps me stay focused and humble. Breakfast is small, some bread, olives, maybe fruit or cheese. I eat slowly, noticing the taste and thinking about how lucky I am for even these small things. Gratitude is important. It keeps the mind calm. I spend a lot of the morning writing letters to friends and students. I give advice about anger, fear, and life in general. I tell them that what really matters is how you act, not what you have. Sometimes I read letters from other philosophers, like Epictetus, who reminds me that it's not events that disturb me, but my judgments about them. I try to practice that every day. Later, I walk through the streets or in gardens. I watch people, merchants selling, children playing, neighbors chatting. I notice the little things, the smell of fresh bread, the sun hitting the mosaics, the way people hurry and bustle. It's interesting, but I try not to get caught up in it. Observing without being dragged into worry is a skill. Visitors sometimes come to my house, friends, students, or even strangers seeking advice. They ask questions about life, how to stay calm, how to deal with trouble. I explain that the secret isn't in money, power, or fame, but in controlling your own mind and being honest. It's a lot of talking, but I enjoy it because teaching helps me think better too. Lunch is quiet and simple. Maybe bread and olives again, sometimes cheese or fruit, as I said before. I eat slowly, often with a friend. We talk about what we are learning, what we saw in the market, or what's going on in the empire. Even small talks are lessons if you think about them carefully. Afternoons are for more writing and thinking. I reflect on the day. Did I lose patience? Did I act kindly? Did I waste time? I write down thoughts and advice for my students, hoping it would guide them as it guides me. Sometimes I stop to watch the sunset or the clouds. Life changes fast, and noticing the world helps me remember that nothing is permanent. In the evening, I spend time again with my family or friends. We discuss philosophy, politics, or sometimes just tell stories. I watch how they react, how they handle difficulties. Life is short, and it's easy to get lost in worries. Sharing ideas, teaching, and laughing a little makes it better. Before bed, I sit quietly again. I think about what I learned today and what I want to do better tomorrow. Death is natural, life is short, and the world can be chaotic. But if I stay calm, honest, and wise, I can handle it. That is the life of a philosopher in Rome. Noticing, learning, helping, and keeping peace inside. Philosophers were kind of like the teachers and life coaches of their time, but in a very different way. They weren't famous on TV or anything, but people respected them a lot. A lot of them thought that the most important thing in life wasn't money, power, or fancy clothes, but how you live and how you control yourself. Most Roman philosophers tried to live simple lives. Seneca, for example, wrote letters to his friend Lucilius, giving advice about anger, fear, and dealing with stress. He often said that people worry too much about things they cannot control and that we should focus on what we can control. Epictetus, another famous philosopher, said something similar. He was a former slave and he taught that even if life is really hard, we can still be free inside if we train our minds. He gave practical advice like don't get upset about what other people think and don't chase things that won't make you happy in the long run. So in short, Roman philosophers were all about living wisely, controlling their minds, and helping others. They weren't about showing off or chasing money, they were about thinking deeply, learning from life, and trying to be better every day. And even though they lived thousands of years ago, a lot of their advice still makes sense today if you just take a moment to think about it. Hi, my name is Marcus. I am a slave in the Roman Empire, and my life is full of work. I belong to a wealthy family who lives in the countryside. Every day starts very early, often before the sun rises. The first thing I do is get the animals ready, chickens, pigs, cows. They all need to eat and be taken care of. Sometimes I have to clean the stables, move hay, and carry water from the wheel. It's heavy work, but if I don't do it, I know I will get punished. Being a slave means you have to do your job without complaining. After I take care of the animals, I prepare a simple breakfast for myself. Usually it's just bread or some leftover from the family. I eat quickly because there's no time to rest. Sometimes I think about my family or my home, but I have to push those thoughts away. I have work to do. Today, like many other days, I will go to the fields and help plant and harvest crops. Cater wrote a book about farming, and most of the time I follow his advice without even realizing it. The fields are big and the work is hard. I carry heavy loads, dig soil, and help with irrigation. The sun is hot and my muscles ache, but I keep going. I know that the harvest must be done well because it fits the family and the city. And because if it isn't, someone has to pay the price for mistakes. And it might be me. During the day, I have to go to the market. The master sends me to buy supplies or sell products. It's strange because I am a slave, but for a few moments I feel like I have a little freedom. I can walk through the streets, see people from different places, hear different languages, and smell food from all over the empire. But I cannot stop for long. I must follow orders and return quickly. If I do well, I might get a little praise, but if I make mistakes, it's punishment again. Inside the house, there are other slaves too. Some take care of the cooking, some clean, and some serve the family during meals. We all work together, but there is tension too. Sometimes we fight quietly, sometimes we help each other, but we try to keep each other safe because the master and his family have power over our lives. If we make them angry, it could be dangerous. So we speak carefully, we move carefully, and we learn to read their moods. I also notice small things in my life that give me little happiness. I watch the sky in the early morning, or I see a bird fly over the fields. I listen to the water in the well or the wind in the trees. These moments are small, but they remind me that even as a slave, I am alive, and life has a little bits of beauty. We slaves talk, sharing stories, dreams, or jokes. These are precious moments because they give me hope and remind me I'm not completely alone. Meals with the family are different from my own meals. I serve them, wash them, eat, and make sure everything is perfect. They eat well with bread, meat, olives, and wine. I taste only a little if allowed. Sometimes I envy them. Sometimes I just focus on my work. It's a constant balance between surviving, staying safe, and keeping my mind alive. I read when I can or listen to stories told by educated slaves. Some talk about Rome, the wars, the emperors, and the latest gossip about politics. Even if I cannot participate, I learn and imagine life beyond my work. In the afternoon, I return to the fields or help repair things in the house. Walls, roofs, fences, tools, and must be kept in good shape. Slaves are responsible for a lot, and our work touches almost every part of life in the estate. It's exhausting, but it keeps me busy. I see other slaves punished, and it scares me. Roman law allows owners to punish as they see fit. I try to stay out of trouble, avoid mistakes, and keep my body and mind strong. It's not an easy life, but I survive because I am carefully, hardworking, and I watch for small chances to make things easier for myself. When the day ends, I clean the house again, take care of the animals one last time, and finally eat a small dinner. Leftovers, for example. When I have the chance, I share food with friends, but most of the time I sit quietly alone. I think about my day, the hard work, the small joys, and the people I meet. I pray quietly sometimes, asking for strength and hope. Being a slave is not only physical, it's mental too. You have to protect your mind as much as your body. Before I sleep, I help set up the house for the night. Candles, doors, animals, everything must be safe. Then I lie down, exhausted but still thinking. I dream about freedom sometimes, about family, and about a different life.